Nearly a year to the day after the death of Eric Garner, RFL sits down with his mother to see how she's dealing with the loss and whether she thinks there's been any progress since the tragedy. Then President Obama just made history, not with the Iran deal, but from a federal prison. We'll explain to you why the president went behind bars today. And just minutes from now, we're going to get a verdict in the Colorado movie theater shooting. James Holmes accused of opening fire and killing 12 people. We will bring you that verdict as it happens. Good evening and welcome to RFL. I'm Andrew Whitman in tonight for Richard French. And tonight we begin with Eric Garner. Tomorrow will mark 1 year since his death, and since his death, a lot has happened. Mayor Bill de Blasio says police reforms in New York City have been made, and he says they've made a difference. And Garner's family this week reached a $5.9 million settlement with the city of New York. Our Dominic Carter sat down with Garner's mother, Gwen Carr. And Dominic, how is Gwen Carr dealing with this loss 1 year later?
It's still very tough for her, Andrew. She goes day by day trying to make the best of it. But she says, in her opinion, the way she feels, it's like it almost happened yesterday. The Garner case became a national flashpoint for police community relations. And while his family, that is his family, while the feds decide whether or not to take on the case, his family is not giving up their fight. Garner's mother does not see this week's $5.9 million settlement with the city of New York as a victory. A lot has changed since the last time we saw you.
Yes.
It's been reported that the city offered a $5 million settlement, but it's also been reported that that was turned down against legal advice. But why was 5.9 acceptable to you and your family?
Well, first of all, the $5 million I knew nothing about. And the 5.9 it's not that it's acceptable. Money is not a factor. My son's death is, and that we're still trying to get justice. Money is back burner. We're not even, trying to even be happy about whether it was $5 or $5 million or whatever. It's just, what we was offered, and we agreed to it.
A year later, what makes you tick? You're a strong woman. What makes you tick?
Well, I'm out there. I'm still, as I was saying before, looking and searching for justice. So I'm doing everything I can in every way I can to try to make this happen.
The deadline for filing the case a year later is tomorrow. How do you define justice for your son?
Justice will be when everyone who was involved in my son's death that day stands accountable for their misconduct that day. And then I'll feel that justice has been served. And it won't be justice for Eric because he can get no more justice, but it'll be closure for the family.
So there's no closure now?
Not until we get justice. And that's what we're on the forefront for, and justice, and that's what I'm geared. I got my blinders on now, and that's the way that I'm headed.
Have you heard from Officer Pantaleo or from his legal representative?
No, I haven't heard anything from Officer Pantaleo, not that I want to, but the only thing that we heard from was that little statement he made after the grand jury decision, which I think he never had ever seen, something typed up by a secretary or signed with a font on the computer. And even though, I just think that was tacky in itself.
So you don't believe the apology Officer Pantaleo did was real?
It wasn't even an apology. If you read the wording in it, it says condolence. It didn't say apology.
In your heart of hearts, what do you believe the feds are going to do with this case?
Well, I really think that they would do us fair.
Define do us fair.
That they will look over the evidence, look at the whole situation, Because remember, my son's death was ruled a homicide by 2 medical examiners, one which was a police forensic examiner. And if that wasn't enough, let's go to the video.
Now you said, I said, how do you define justice? And I thought you were going to talk about Officer Pantaleo, and you said not until everyone involved.
That's right.
So what do you mean by that?
It wasn't only Officer Pandaleo that day. It was 5 officers that piled on top of him after he was saying he couldn't breathe. They just had no concern for his well-being. They had no concern for his life. As he laid on the hot pavement, they just piled on him and disregard his life.
What about the medical personnel?
And the medical personnel, they showed up, but for what? They never, ever tried to give him any kind of CPR. If you see a person that's not responding, unresponsive, with your training, what are you supposed to do? I've talked to many medical examiners, many EMS personnel, and they tell me at the least they carry oxygen wherever they go, because that's the least that you would give to a person that you see in distress.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Governor Cuomo appointing the state attorney general to investigate some of these cases like this. A good thing, or are you pleased with the governor?
Yeah, it is a good thing. It's a step in the right direction. You know, we needed this reform. The mother's been fighting for this. I'm new in this fight, but I've met mothers that's been fighting for this for almost 2 decades. Miss Baez, Miss Rosario, even Miss Diallo, she's been in it for a long time. Miss Bell been in it for quite a while. These mothers have been trying to get an executive order because they see how things work. And now I see how things work.
A year ago when I met you, you said that you could not look at the video. That was on every single television station.
Yes.
Every national station.
Yes.
A year later, are you able to look at it?
I still haven't looked at it, not in its entirety. When it comes on, like now, this time of year, it's coming on, I turn the sound down. You know, if it's at a commercial time or if the news is coming on, I don't even really look at the news anymore. But if I happen to get caught up in the middle of it, when I see them pushing him, I turn the sound down or I'll turn away from it.
You still can't do it.
I still can't do it.
The Staten Island District Attorney, Dan Donovan, is no longer the district attorney.
No.
He's been elected to Congress.
Yeah, he got a promotion. Whippy.
That hurts your heart?
Oh, definitely. I was out campaigning against him getting elected to Congress. But people don't vote.
The president of the Sergeants Benevolent Association, a gentleman by the name of Ed Mullins, says the city should have never have settled this suit and that it's political, that the leaders are basically caving in to political pressure.
I don't care what they say. I'm not even interested in what they say.
Quoting family members of Eric Garner, money is not justice, Andrew.
Dominic, I'm curious. This started with Eric Garner and Daniel Pantaleo, and we've seen the video countless times as to how it ended. But it didn't stay with just the two of them. It enveloped the entire city, really the entire nation, if you think about it. Does Gwen Carr look at herself in a larger role now as part of a larger effort, or is this still a very personal thing for her?
For her, it's as personal gets. You cannot talk to her. She's a strong, proud woman. Worked for the city of New York, for the Transit Authority, for her entire career. But she becomes very emotional. It's hard to interview her because oftentimes she starts crying when she thinks about it. And you know, on a personal level for me, while we're there with the crew interviewing her, I'm just praying that on the news the video doesn't come on while we're there, which could very well happen.
So when she's seeking justice, is she seeking justice for herself and for her son, or is she seeking justice in the larger sense?
Excellent question. Like she said in the clip, she believes that, well, let me backtrack. The police unions feel the city of New York should not have settled this. That's number one. They are standing by Officer Pantaleo, the grand jury decision, with the belief that he did not do anything wrong. And in fairness, he was not indicted by a grand jury in Staten Island. She is continuing to push forward. She's hoping that the feds will take on this case. As you know, Andrew, it's a very high threshold civil rights violation for the feds to get involved. They did not do it in Missouri with the Michael Brown case. This case, though, I have a funny feeling may be different. Who knows what's going to happen? Remember Rodney King, same thing, acquitted on the local level, and then the feds came in and got the conviction. So we'll see.
Dominic Carter, thank you. Another great interview, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later on in the show. Breaking news now coming from you out of Aurora, Colorado. A live look inside the courtroom, actually in Centennial, Colorado. The jury has reached a verdict in the trial of James Holmes. Holmes, of course, accused of killing 12 people in a Colorado movie theater 3 years ago. The verdict is expected to be handed down within the next few minutes or so. Let's listen in inside the courtroom right now. Okay, we've got a little break there in the action in the courtroom. We're keeping an eye on that. We're also keeping our eyes in Chattanooga, Tennessee after that shooting today. We're going to take a quick break here on RFL and continue right after this.